Well, what a fantastic weekend for SailGP. In the background, you can see the boats being put away after a wonderful 2 days. Very different conditions for us here in Sydney, but boy, there must be an awful lot of happy faces just to be seeing 2 days of really good foiling racing. And Sydney turned it on for the second day of racing today. Absolutely extraordinary. What was expected to be a lighter breeze actually turned out to be a pretty classic nor'easter and not too puffy, and just produced the most amazing sailing. Of course, for the Australians, of course, for great celebration. Tom Slingsby and his team getting their first win of the season, of an event win. What better place to do it than here in Sydney, and in such glamour conditions. He's a big advocate for Australia and for Sydney, and really it just turned it on. Pretty crazy start to the final race, in which they got into with the Danes and the Kiwis. Don't think we've seen two OCSs and a slow starter behind, but the struggle then was to get behind the Danes, who were ahead, and they did an extraordinary job to get ahead, and then gradually the Australians hunted them down, with the Kiwis just a little bit further back, never quite getting back into it. As I said, Tom Slingsby always speaks very glowingly about Australia. Unsurprisingly, he's a good Australian and Sydney-sider. But he was saying in the mixed zone that he was really quite moved. It really is a special place, this. So being on Shark Island for the celebrations and the presentation on Shark Island, and he said there is no other event in which all of its spectators are around you and they are singing their hearts out with the national anthem. He said that was pretty memorable. He'll be taking that away with him. So what are the rest of the teams? First of all, 5 winners out of 6 races. That's pretty good. It certainly means that there's plenty of spark in amongst all of the fleet. There's no absolutes in any of this. The standout for me have been the Danes, just so incredibly consistent the whole way through. Nikolai Seested's got a really good crew with him, really focused, and really put the lie to local knowledge yesterday by just being more consistent than just about everybody else. Interesting too, when you look down through who's on his team, all of them at some point or another seem to have sailed with him, either in round the world races and so forth. Tom Johnson, their wingman, another Australian, of course. In SailGP there are plenty of them. A name most people wouldn't know, but he's not only sailed around the world twice in the Volvo races, but he was a wing trimmer for the American team in 2017. That's the extraordinary thing about so many people in these teams, is there may not be names, but boy, have they got a good CV and palmares. The Kiwis still a serious threat. Nathan jumping in for Peter Burling and doing a really very good job. Just not quite getting it in that last final race, but a good win for those guys. Otherwise, in the main racing, flashes of brilliance from Spain. The Germans, who are probably newest to this, Eric Heil, doing some really good work. As I said in one earlier interview, the masters of the hook start, that was pretty extraordinary. But holding on in one race the whole way through with real consistency, just not letting that go, and getting across the line ahead of the Australians and others. And also for Taylor Canfield, learnings there, and for Giles Scott too. There's a lot of new players in new positions all learning. The data sharing is huge for those people. Massive acceleration, simulators and other things all help. But there's a body of really good, solid teams here, and great to see the women coming through. 3 women in each team. Acting as strategists, really being pretty instrumental in so much of the race, calling lines, calling distances, calling who's doing what on the race course, and of course now really getting into taking on the positions in each event, getting to sail together as a group of women. So we can expect them to be seeing in those positions standing in rather than the men standing in when the women or the men head off for children. We have lots of interviews we've done yesterday and today. We'll be putting those out. We did a tech tour earlier, and we'll give you a little bit of that. But great way to finish. I think Australia is going to be definitely the venue that people want to keep coming back as long as that nor'easter keeps coming in and the sun shines. So all the best from us, and we look forward to seeing